Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing a very important topic, and that is levels of abstraction for electronic system. Whether you are a fresher or experienced engineer, whether you belong to analog field or digital domain or a verification engineer, you all must know what is level of abstraction. And being a VLSI engineer, you should be aware of it. And for why? To be an efficient engineer in your domain. Okay, so let's learn what it is. It actually means where you stand, means what you do and what is your profile. Knowing level of abstraction can boost your knowledge, make you more productive and make you more efficient than others. Okay, so you might have seen this diagram before. So let me explain, then you will get to know how this can be useful for you to boost your knowledge and how it can make you a successful engineer. Okay, so in the level of abstraction, the top level is this one, this part, application software, and the lowest part is physics. It is mostly device physics. So at this level, what we are doing, this level mostly deals with movement of electrons, or we can say behavior of electron. Then the next topmost level is devices. Any electronic system constructed from devices like transistor or diode or capacitor, right? So these are the basic components, and how they work or how they function. In the background, it is all physics. How all these devices work, in the background it is all device physics, right? But at this level, we are not directly dealing with electron. At this level, we do not directly deal with electrons. Rather, they have well-defined terminals and modeled by voltage and current. We deal with voltage and current at this level. So now you can see how these two levels are interconnected. This level is dealing with movement of electrons, and this level is dealing with standard voltage and current. The next topmost level is analog circuit. Any analog circuit is constructed from the devices like BJT, or you can say transistor, or diode, or capacitor, or we can say resistor. Any analog circuit, you name it. And at this level, what we do, the devices from this level are assembled, and components like amplifiers or filter or other circuits are created, and we make a bigger circuit at this level. So in this level 3, we can say this is level 3, right? We can say this one is level 1, this one is level 2. So at level 3, we are making a bigger circuit with the help of the basic devices. And the next top level is the fourth one, and that is the digital logic. And what are they? They are basically basic gates like AND gate, OR gate, or NOT gate, or we can say NAND gate. Okay, so at this level, we are dealing with basic gates, and how they are constructed, how the AND gate, OR gate, or NOT gate are constructed. These are again constructed from the MOS, right? MOS, or we can say transistor, or BJT or MOS we can say. But this MOS and BJT are part of analog circuit, not part of digital circuit, right? Not part of digital domain we can say. So now here you can see how these two levels are interconnected again, this analog domain and this digital domain. And this, see, this part is analog part. If you are dealing with all these things, then it is called analog domain. And if you are dealing with this part, then this part is called digital. This is all digital domain. And if you are dealing with these two part, then it is called software domain. Okay, that you must know. So at digital logic level, this level 4th, what we are doing, we are processing voltage. Here at this level we are processing voltage at discrete level like 1 and 0, because the input to the digital logic is from analog domain, and from the analog domain we are getting the standard voltages in the continuous range. Then we are converting that one into discrete level, either 1 or either 0, and we are processing that part. Okay, the next level is level 5th, and this is logic level. So here what we are doing, we build complex circuit with the help of basic gates. Basic gates are AND or NOT, and we are designing a complex circuit like adder or decoder, subtractor, multiplier we can say, or memory we can say like a RAM or ROM. Okay, at this level. Next level is microarchitecture, the level 6th. And at this level what we are doing, this level 6, this level, it deals with how we are executing or processing a data. So this level deals with execution and execution and processing a data using data path or controller you can say. So it deals with mostly data path and controller, this microarchitecture. So what it is doing, it is executing or processing a data coming from the logic level, this one. So input to microarchitecture is this level, logic level. So at this level we are giving data and this digital data, and it is being executed and processed by this microarchitecture part at this level. And how it is done? It is done with the help of logic, and how it executes and process the data. It is done with the help of logic that was developed at level 5, this level 5 and level 4. Whatever the logic we developed at level 5th and level 4, with the help of that one we are executing or processing our data at this level, this microarchitecture level. Okay, and the next level is the 7th level. Level 7 is architecture part, and architecture, it mostly deals with two things. One is instruction and one is register part. And what is instruction? Instruction is nothing but language. It is the language, or we can say the instruction is what a software sends so that a hardware understands. So we are sending instruction, means software send instruction and the hardware executes that part and understand that part and executes that part. Okay, and what is for the register? It is for storing our data, or you can say storing operand, right? So hope you got this one, this logic level, this level 7, the architecture part. It is dealing with two things. One is instruction part, one is register part. Register is for storing data, and instruction is given by the software so that a hardware understand. And how this architecture part is implemented? What is there in this architecture part? This architecture part mostly it is implemented by this part. This architecture part, it is mostly implemented by your components like processor or memory. Mostly these two things at this architecture part, either processor or either memory. That is what it is implemented by. So this architecture part it gives instruction to microarchitecture. This gives this architecture this architecture level gives instruction to microarchitecture to execute that instruction. So at this two level, instruction is given by the software, and that instruction is executed and processed by all these levels, all these digital levels. See, this part is analog, it is completely analog, and this 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th level is completely digital. So this digital level executes and process the data, or we can say the instruction given by this two level, or we can say the software level, or by the software. Okay, software part. Next top level is operating system, this one. So at this level, this is level 8, right? This part is level 8. So at this level, this is operating system part. Okay, so this level provides a interface to the user to access the hardware with the help of device driver. So it deals with the device driver. So at this level, it provides an interface to the user to access hardware with the help of device driver. So we can say all the downs level are managed by operating system. All these levels, this 1 to 7, so all these levels are managed by operating system. Okay, the next part is the topmost level is application software level, this one. And this part is nothing but a set of programs. This part, the topmost part, is a set of program which uses facilities provided by the OS. So this part uses the facilities provided by the operating system to solve a problem for the user. Okay, so it is directly, this level directly dealing with user, and it solves the user problem with the help of operating system, this one. Okay, so hope you all understood how each levels are interconnected, right? How these 3 levels, or we can say all the 9th levels, we can say one is software domain, one is digital domain, one is analog domain. All these levels are interconnected. So when you are working suppose if you are working at particular level, then it is always good to know the levels of abstraction just above and below your working. Suppose you are a digital engineer. Suppose your level is here, you are working at this level, means microarchitecture level. So you should be aware of the architecture part. You should know the architecture part, and you should know the microarchitecture, this logic part. You should be aware of this one, just below the levels that you are working at, and just above the level. Suppose, for example, if you are working at this level, digital logic level, so you should be aware of this part also, this analog circuit part. It will be very useful. So you are dealing with, because your input is, suppose if you are at this digital logic part, so your input is coming from analog domain, right? Analog circuit, or we can say analog domain. So you are directly dealing with analog domain. Then your output is going to this level, this particular level, this logic level. So you should be aware of these 2 level. One is your analog circuit level, and another thing is your logic level. So wherever you work, means if you are working at particular level, then you should be aware of the top level, and you should be aware of the down level. Okay, and it will make you very, very efficient. Okay, let me give you a real example. Okay, suppose if you want to design a digital filter, say you can say FIR or IIR filter. Okay, then you might be thinking that just writing Verilog code is enough and your job is done once you write the Verilog code. But I say no. So let me explain how level of abstraction works here. Here the input to filter is digital, right? And it is coming from the ADC part, and input to ADC is analog, right? But the digital data coming from ADC, this part, this is the ADC output. So the digital data coming from ADC is not noise free. So there must be some noise. So you have to model your filter as per the level of noise, right? Now you have to model your filter as per the noise level that you are getting at this input. So you might be thinking that how a digital design engineer will handle the noise part and incorporates in his or her design, and the noise that you are dealing with is the minimum amount of noise your design can handle or tolerate, and that is what you have to consider here. Suppose you are designing a filter, then the minimum level of noise that your filter must handle. And let's say your minimum noise voltage that you are going to handle is 20 microvolt. Suppose this is the minimum level of noise you are expecting. So hope you remember this formula, right? This resolution part, voltage by 2 to the power n minus 1, this is resolution. So your working voltage is fixed, right? This is the working voltage, the voltage that you are working with. This voltage is fixed, and you should know it about this voltage. What is the value of this voltage? So next variable thing that you have to work on is number of bits, this n, right? N. So now you have to decide, so for example, if I take n equal to 12, then my resolution will be around 2 to the power 12, right? Is equal to around 1000 nanovolt, right? So I think I believe that it is enough now, because your minimum noise voltage is 20 microvolt, and you are modeling your circuit or you are designing a filter considering the resolution 1000 nanovolt. Means this is a minimum. Now you are considering a minimum noise voltage 1000 nanovolt. I think this is enough for your design. Okay. So now you can think of, now here your level of abstraction played an important role. Though you are a digital design engineer, now you are playing with the analog domain part, right? This voltage level, this voltage, then resolution part, then you are thinking about the noise, how to suppress noise, how to deal with noise, what should be the minimum noise. Okay. So now these things are interconnected. Now this digital domain and analog domain are interconnected. Now you are dealing with, being a digital engineer, now you are dealing with analog domain also, and that's why I was explaining about the level of abstraction, how it works, right? And the next part is your output of the filter. Okay. So I randomly choose here n equal to 12 bits. So can I take more bits? Because if I take more number of bits, 20 or 30 bits, then again my noise voltage is very less, so that I can reduce my noise. Here at this point I can reduce my noise by taking more number of bits. If I take more number of bits in filter output, then it will consume more power, right? More number of bits, then that has to be processed, so it will consume more power to process the output, and more bits means more space is needed to store that one. So definitely it will affect your speed of your design. It will directly affect your speed of your design if you choose more number of bits. So this is how it works actually in the real world, how this the knowledge of analog, being a digital engineer also, you can exploit the top level part. Okay. I hope you understood this example. Okay, so the next example I would like to give is this for verification. And suppose you are a verification engineer, and what is your input is your output of your digital logic, right? Because you are verifying a digital logic. Okay, or you can say ASIC or a specific IP you are verifying. So what I believe is a verification engineer is more efficient if he or she is very good at logic design concept. I believe a logic design engineer can be an efficient and productive verification engineer, because just knowing system verilog or some methodology like UVM or OVM won't make you an efficient verification engineer. You should have analytical skill. You should have analytical skill to analyze the design. You should be good at, if you are good at logic design part, or if you are good at analyzing the circuit, then definitely you can be an efficient and very good verification engineer than just knowing system verilog and bunch of libraries like UVM or OVM. Definitely it is essential, UVM and OVM for verification, but if you are good at digital logic but design part, then you can be a better verification engineer, what I believe. And this is the last part of my video, and I hope you understood something, or maybe you gain, or if you get you gained something, and if you learned something, then please subscribe the channel, and you can share this content with your friends, and do press a like button if you really enjoyed the lecture. Okay, so thank you for watching.